I wanted to make a podcast to tell you 5 interesting facts about each of the disciples, or each of the 12 disciples, actually. So I wanted to start off with Simon, who was named Peter. So he experienced a name change. Jesus renamed Simon to Peter, which means rock, signifying his foundational role in the early church. This was found in Matthew 16:18. He was a fisherman. Before following Jesus, Peter was a fisherman working alongside his brother Andrew. Matthew 4:18. He did walk on water. Peter was the only disciple to walk on water, though he began to sink when he doubted. Matthew 14:29 through 31. He also denied Jesus. He famously denied knowing Jesus 3 times, which fulfilled the prediction of Jesus in Mark 14:72. And he had a leadership role. After the resurrection of Jesus, Peter became a central figure in the early Christian church and delivered the first sermon at the Pentecost in Acts 2:14 through 41. Next is Andrew. He was the first called. Andrew was one of the first disciples Jesus called, often noted for initially being a disciple of John the Baptist before following Jesus in John 1:40-41. He was also known for bringing others to Jesus, including his brother Peter and the boy with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish in John 6:8-9. Tradition holds that Andrew spread the gospel in regions such as Greece and Asia Minor, so he was involved in missionary work. Martyrdom. Andrew was believed to have been martyred by crucifixion on an X-shaped cross, which is now known as St. Andrew's Cross. And then feast day. His feast day is celebrated on November 30th in many Christian traditions. Next is James, son of Zebedee. James was the son of Zebedee and the brother of John, both of whom were fishermen, as seen in Mark 1:19. He was part of Jesus' inner circle along with Peter and John and witnessed key events like the Transfiguration, Matthew 17:1. James was the first apostle to be martyred, executed by King Herod around 44 AD, as in Acts 12:1-2. He is the patron saint of Spain and has a significant pilgrimage route named after him, the Camino de Santiago. And his martyrdom and the early church's reverence for him helped establish his influence in Christianity. Next is John. John is referred to as the disciple whom Jesus loved, emphasizing his close relationship with Jesus. John 13:23. He is traditionally attributed as the author of the Gospel of John, 1-3 of John, and Revelation, rich in theological insight. John is believed to be the only disciple who died a natural death, reportedly around the age of 90, so the only non-martyr. John also spent time in Ephesus after Jesus' resurrection and was later exiled to Patmos, which is where he wrote the book of Revelation. And in Christian art, he is often depicted as an eagle, symbolizing the high and spiritual nature of his gospel. Next is Philip. Philip was called by Jesus shortly after Peter and Andrew. He was known for his straightforward approach. John 1:43. He introduced Nathanael to Jesus, demonstrating his role as an evangelist. John 1:45. The feeding of the 5,000. Philip was a disciple who questioned how to feed the large crowd, revealing his practical mindset. So John 6:7. He played a key role in spreading the gospel to Samaritans and had a notable encounter with the Ethiopian Enoch, leading to his baptism, Acts 8:26-39. And tradition holds that Philip preached in Phrygia, I'm probably saying that wrong, but Phrygia, and was martyred there. So next we have Nathanael. There's some skeptical introduction. Bartholomew is identified as Nathanael in the Gospel of John, who initially expressed skepticism about Jesus being from Nazareth. So John 1:46. Jesus demonstrated divine knowledge by telling Nathanael he had seen him under a fig tree before Philip called him. John 1:48. Tradition suggests he preached in various regions, including India, Armenia, and Ethiopia, so also engaged in missionary work. And he is believed to have been martyred, possibly by being flayed alive or crucified, and his feast day is celebrated August 24th. Next is Matthew. Before following Jesus, Matthew was a tax collector, which was a despised profession in Jewish society. Matthew 9:9. He is traditionally credited with writing the Gospel of Matthew, which emphasizes Jesus' teachings and fulfillment of the Old Testament. Jesus called him while he was sitting at the tax booth, demonstrating the transformative power of Jesus' call. Matthew 9:9. As a former tax collector, he is often seen as the patron of outcasts and sinners, and some traditions hold that Matthew was martyred while preaching, possibly in Ethiopia. Next is Thomas. He is known for doubting Jesus' resurrection until he saw Jesus himself, leading to the phrase doubting Thomas, John 20:24-29. Thomas displayed bravery when he suggested returning to Judea with Jesus despite the danger, John 11:16. Tradition states that Thomas traveled to India to spread the gospel where he established churches. And it is believed that he was martyred for his faith in India, possibly pierced with spears, and his feast day is celebrated July 3rd. Next is James, known as James the Less. To differentiate him from James the Greater, he is considered to be the son of Alphaeus. Mark 15:40. James is believed to have taken a significant leadership role in the Jerusalem church after Jesus' ascension. He is traditionally regarded as the author of the Epistle of James, which emphasizes moral and ethical living. And early church traditions claim he was martyred, possibly by being thrown from the temple and then beaten to death, and his feast day is celebrated on May 3rd. Next is Judas, not Iscariot or Thaddeus. So there was a lot of name confusion with this disciple. His name is sometimes confused in the lists of the apostles. This can be read more about in Luke 6:16, John 14:22. So again, also referred to as Judas, not Iscariot or Thaddeus. Um, During the Last Supper, he asked Jesus how he would reveal himself to the disciples in John 14:22, which showed more of his curiosity about Jesus. He is said to have preached in various regions, including Syria and Persia, spreading the message of Jesus, so this was part of his missionary activities. Thaddeus is believed to have died a martyr as well, though details vary widely in different traditions, and his feast day is celebrated on June 19th. Simon is next. Simon is often described as a zealot, indicating that he was likely involved in a political movement aiming to resist Roman rule, Luke 6:15. His background contrasts sharply with Matthew the tax collector, highlighting the diverse backgrounds of Jesus' followers. He is traditionally thought to have preached in various regions, possibly including North Africa and Britain. According to tradition, Simon was martyred, though the specifics of his death are less clear than other disciples, and his feast day is celebrated October 28th. The last disciple is going to be Judas. Judas is the betrayer of Jesus, so He's infamously known for betraying Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, leading to the arrest of Jesus as seen in Matthew 26:14-16. He served as a group's treasurer, managing financial resources, yet was known to steal from the common purse. John 12:6. After betraying Jesus, Judas experienced remorse and returned the silver before ultimately taking his own life. Matthew 27:3-5. His betrayal was seen as a fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecy, highlighting the complexity of divine foreknowledge and free will. And Judas's name has become synonymous with betrayal, and he's often depicted negatively in Christian tradition. So this small presentation was just kind of showing you the 5 interesting facts about each disciple, hopefully helping you to understand them more. If you have any questions, you can always email me at thechristminute@gmail.com. And again, that is thechristminute@gmail.com. And if you did hear some little strange noises in the background, I do apologize. I have 3 dogs, and I'm really surprised they haven't made that much noise in the past almost 12 minutes. So again, I appreciate you listening and appreciate your patience, and I just also your grace, because I know that these podcasts don't have a lot of background music. I know here on YouTube I can't really post well, these show up on Spotify, YouTube, and other places, but for YouTube they can't really have a lot of background music. So that's why I kind of stopped using music, because I don't know really um, how to use music on YouTube or what music I can use that won't block the podcast. So you're just hearing my voice, and I hope you're okay with that. But if you have any suggestions as to music that I can use on my podcast or how I can do that, go ahead and email me at thechristminute@gmail.com. I truly appreciate you for listening, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Bye.